Hey guys, it's time for Shadow the Hedgehog. So the most emo game ever made, perhaps. Shadow the Hedgehog. I know this is where a lot of people kind of point to where Sonic went downhill, and I feel like ever since Adventure 2, all the games has kind of got slightly worse until we ended up at '06, and there was like no coming back from that. But Shadow, I think, is still a fairly decent, good game. And I love the fact, again, Sonic Team tries something different every time. They're like, okay, what if we had three characters at once? What if we had Shadow holding a gun? You know, it even has a little karma system. So Shadow the Hedgehog, what can I say about it? First of all, the base gameplay itself is kind of janky, I suppose, if that's the right word. I know there's just things like a lot of the guns though auto lock on, so you don't have to bother with a reticle. But then you get these, power weapons, these rocket launchers, which have a manual lock, and you can barely hit anything with them. It's very frustrating and difficult. So a third-person high-speed shooter sounds like a really cool concept, but in practice, at least with this, it's not exactly the best. But it's not terrible either, I would say. I'd say it's like decently fun. Again, another big reason we come to Sonic games is the music. The music defines the personality and identity of the game, even if it's bad, even if it's not that great. And the music in this game is pretty good. So what are the main new components in this game? So first of all, there is a karma system. You can do evil deeds and good deeds, and then also there are neutral objectives. So from the very first mission, you're given the option to, you have two different NPCs that you can actually take along as followers and companions who will fight alongside you, not very well, but they will give you an objective. So kind of similar to Sonic Heroes, where you had different objectives based on the teams you have, you now choose your objective based on who you ally with. So usually the enemy route or the evil route is something like, okay, destroy all of the, good guys in this area. The hero route is destroy all the bad guys in the area, or just get to the end goal. And the neutral route is either, just getting to the end goal and ignoring everything, or the hero mission is destroying, a certain target or whatever, or what have you, or collecting a bunch of things and unlocking something. Again, it's interesting that we see a bit more story and lore aspect in this game, similar to Adventure 2, simply because, Shadow was such a big hit, and I think in Adventure 2 that they wanted to revisit him, and that involves looking at the world that the Sonic universe actually is in. So you have all this side plot about, the President of the United States, and, it's not a spoiler, but, the White House gets blown up Independence Day style, and, like, all this stuff that's like, this is so silly, this is so stupid, I love it. And you have this whole thing where the General of Gun is, like, has a past with Shadow, and he's a character who, knew Shadow, basically, at one point in the past. And it gets, because this is Shadow's game, and Shadow has the most backstory and lore, and the most, the tragic backstory with, Maria. And so what's interesting and new in this game is that basically, I forgot to mention, so there's a new introduction of a character called Black Doom. And so he is the leader of this alien race that just invades the city and the world. And you're like, okay, who the heck is this guy? And you basically find out, his backstory, his relationship to Shadow, how these black arms or dark aliens are related to him. And also, it just goes more into Shadow's creation by Professor Geralt, and exactly, what his identity is, who he is, and and it's reflected in the main theme song, "I am all that I am," or something, or "I am all of me." And it's like, are you gonna be a hero or a villain? It's like you can choose, and this is when karma systems are like a big thing. Like, oh, cool, you can choose to be good or evil or whatever. But it's pretty a banal, mission choice. And so the way it works is that as you progress through each mission, based on the outcome that you decided to do, it will then change the route through the story. And it has this big map of all the different stages and levels. And so basically you have to beat the game, I guess twice for each outcome, of which there are at least 5, so like 10 times, I think, at least. But the path is always going to be, quote unquote, different, because, oh, you did the hero thing for, this level, you're going to go to the left. And because you did the evil, you're going to go to the right. That's basically, the basic premise of the game. And so every ending you get is a different outcome. So there's an interesting, array. You have human weapons, alien weapons. You have things like from 50 cals that you can pick up to rocket launchers, machine guns, alien weapons that, mimic the same thing. It's a pretty impressive array of weapons, to be honest with you. And you still do have your homing attack, which is also useful, but for certain bosses, you want to bring your, arsenal. And it's actually cool every time you beat one of the main story things. So if you get the full evil story or full, hero ending, you also unlock a different spawn weapon. So you have this one place where this box will spawn at every checkpoint. And it basically contains a series of different types of weapons. There's things like a chicken launcher to like a shadow gun, like all these really cool things. And for every ending you unlock, you get a different weapon that spawns in that box. So that's really cool and a lot of fun. I think my introduction to this game, sets the tone for everything, where when you say, this game autosaves or whatever, or the memory card, and you click A, it makes a gunshot sound effect. So they went really hard on the edge. This is the edgiest game ever made. And so basically the game is structured that you get, each ending, and then of course you lock the final ending. The levels themselves, I think, are structured pretty well. There's like an egg fleet-esque level. There are, there's like a sewer and things like this. The bosses themselves, they're all right, but none of them feel as memorable and as impactful as the previous games. They're still good. They're okay, but Shadow is kind of where, is like this game is okay, but it's not amazing. There's this whole, side story where, Shadow's not sure if he's a clone because Eggman has this giant base of Shadow clones that he created. And that's kind of hinted at the end of Sonic Heroes, that like, oh, who is Shadow truly? And that kind of becomes another aspect in this game, but not a major one. But basically the way the game ends, there's a final confrontation, no spoilers, and everyone comes together to defeat the big bad, and Shadow decides, oh, I don't care what the purpose I was made for, I'll choose my own destiny. It's like, okay, well that's predictable, I guess. And you get to see Shadow go Super Shadow again, and so this is really his game, right? So it's kind of cool that you can decide, oh yeah, what if Shadow was evil? What if he did, look out for himself and all this other stuff? Oh, and I forgot, the other main component is that depending on if you kill good enemies in the stage versus bad enemies, so if you kill bad enemies, you get a good meter, and that'll give you chaos control, and that'll let you basically fly through the level and get right to the end of the stage. And if you kill good enemies, you get different chaos power, which is Chaos Blast, and that'll be a huge AoE total kill effect basically. I don't know, I kind of miss those basic things in these games where it would give you just some superpower based on your performance, which is really cool. So yeah, you get to see so I forgot, also along with each ending you also get a different theme song. I think there's only like 5 different outcomes along with the main theme, so each one is interesting because some of them are like, I'm the bad guy or I'm the hero, like all hail Shadow, heroes rise again. That's an absolute classic. Besides that one, there's the other main themes, but I find the more interesting ones are the themes where it's almost like an emo song, and it's like, I think it's the neutral ending one, where it's like What I've Become, It's the most like we're trying to be Linkin Park kind of song, and it's just, oh my god, it's so much. It's so much because it's trying to be this thing, and it's so funny to me. The voice acting can range from goofy to very very good. The music is also still pretty decent in this game. It's definitely still part, I think, of the family of really good Sonic games. And of course, depending on your outcome, you also get a different final boss. So I'm not sure what else to say, except, you have to find that Danforth Chaos Emerald. This is also from this game. And it's such a silly line. I don't know. There's not much to say about this, except it's definitely part of the main Sonic series. It's an absolute must if you're a Sonic fan. And, you get to see all your returning characters and some new ones. And this is kind of where, I didn't really realize it, but before this, there's not too many Sonic games, and then we get, Sonic 06. So really, this is kind of the end of it, really. So you kind of have to, hold on to it. This is the last part of the adventure series, I would say, that comes close to becoming Adventure 3, and it kind of wraps up Shadow's story. And with that said, I think that's all I can really say about this game. It's enjoy it while it lasts for the good Sonic games, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Bye bye.